I remember doing the record, about to do a mixtape, and my man called me. I ain't gonna say who it is. I'll never tell. One day I'm sure he'll say who it is, and I'm sure you guys know it. Producer came and was like, yo, I got this record, but I need you to hear it. I'm like, all right, come by. He comes by, plays it. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Nah.
But so now.
How old are you at this time?
I was in college, so I had to be like maybe 19, maybe 20. So now I'm looking at it like this. I'm like, now this is my dilemma. I'm like, I'm a New York nigga. Fuck these niggas. And I'm like, but yo, this is what I'm thinking. I'm like, but Puff don't be giving me exclusives. They give him just a clue.
Yo, after a while, you start reasoning. They're like, wait a minute, Puff don't really fuck.
I'm like, Puff don't even do drops for me. I'm like, Big mentioned me in a song. Niggas don't even fuck with me like that. Them niggas is Brooklyn niggas. I'm a Queens nigga too. So you start going back and forth. Right?
Yo, that's like, crazy. Savage.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.
I can answer questions, but I don't know, it's not really, this is about the mixtape. So I'm just sitting here.
Right.
But we can talk about how...
But it's not a 15-minute segment, so...
So you're going to ask me some questions?
I am going to ask you some questions because you're so proactive on my phone line. I'd definitely like to bring up a couple things.
What do you mean I'm proactive on your phone line?
If this was a man that said this, then, the whole world would be looking at it differently.
I do my due diligence when it comes to you guys with a platform that are out here covering, you know what I'm saying, hip hop. Don't I call you when I have an issue with anything which is not as much as you, because you already know that interview. I was like, come on now. Y'all don't have no women up there and y'all talking about that specific issue. You know how I felt about that.
We didn't say anything.
What interview was that?
The Vlad.
She's talking about Vlad. First of all, she hates Vlad.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
You do.
I don't.
You do.
I don't know him like that. What I hate is what it represents, right? So that's something different. That's a different conversation. I don't know him to hate him. But I do believe when he was on here talking about the Puff and the Cassie thing, that y'all kind of went a little too far.
Not me. You pointing. I wasn't here. Like, I don't fuck with Vlad like that.
You heard that? He said, I went here. I don't know. I didn't feel like nobody had women's backs. And that's... Pause.
What?
No, it's not a pause. It's not a pause. We would love to have the women's back. I would love to have the women's back. That's not a pause.
That's not a pause, Kim. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. I gotta watch what I say. Never mind. This is about the mixtape. This is about Taylor tape. Let me shut up.
Kim is crazy.
See how Matt trying to bait me? I'm always on his line checking about stuff. Yeah, because y'all gotta...
If a woman would have said that...
You got a responsibility. I feel like when you have a big platform, you have a responsibility to make sure the stuff that you're saying is fact checked.
This is all golden. You should be taping this right now. Let's let
he's rolling.
Oh, he's rolling.
Once the mic came on, I already knew. Yeah. I already knew they were rolling.
Cam was running.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
See, now you gonna shut up?
I knew you was rolling.
That's just coconut water, son. Like, I don't...
It's coconut. It could be whatever. Anything that come out of this brain and out of this mouth is gonna be facts.
Pause. I don't fuck with you guys. I'm fucking with you guys.
Nah, I'm too comfortable. Let's start.
Kim getting nice right now.
No,
you gotta get it.
Coconut water, it's hot as hell.
It's
outside.
healthy though. Coconut water.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay hydrated. But like, we're storytellers. Right. That's why we're here, right? But we gotta make sure the stories that we tell are coming from reliable sources, especially in our culture.
Right.
So it was just, a couple of episodes where I saw some stories. I was like, that's not necessarily true.
But you got to understand that's happening everywhere. Like, how many times do you guys have to report on something that you don't really know, like, both sides of the story, but it's fucking part of the algorithm now. If you don't talk about it, you're going to be, like, getting 5 views or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
I get a lot of flack for it, but I like to look at things... When things happen to you, you look at things from both sides, right?
Right.
So you look at it, be like, well, this could be true because of what this person said. But damn, this could be true from what this person said. And who am I to say what's true or what's not? Because I wasn't there.
Right.
And a lot of times, especially in media, we go on the side of what we believe because of who we know, right? Like even with the Diddy and Cassie situation. Not to say people didn't believe Cassie when she said it, but what's the first thing people say? Oh, she's just out here trying to get money.
But why did they say that?
Because that is you.
'Cause that's what they do to women.
That's what they do to
Yes.
women.
That is what they do to women.
Because it wasn't a criminal charge. It was a lawsuit.
It was
Allegations
usually
in a
how we
law
look at
school.
things. Like,
Shoot.
okay, you want to get his
Suit.
money, but you don't want to put him in jail for it. Like if it happened to my daughter, I'd be like, nah, we're gonna put him under the jail, and then if we need to, we're gonna get the money. But first, under the jail takes priority because you're never gonna do this again
You're
to
right.
somebody.
But a lot of women look at it as and if you speak to women, they'll be like, I ain't want to get blackballed. He got so much power that he could stop me from being heard. He got so much power from this, that, and the other, which people assumed. And he did. Puff had enough power to do that if he wanted to.
Right.
But we didn't know, and who was my place to say what's true and what's not true?
Right.
You know what I mean? So when we do that, it's like, oh, you didn't pick a side. So I never pick a side until I see everything for sure. If somebody says, yo, math is a sucker, I don't like math, I'm not going to believe it until I meet math.
Right.
Now, when I meet math, I'm like, nah, that ain't true. I don't know where that.
Right.
Math might have just did something, you know what I mean? But that's how I look at things.
For the record, if anybody ever tells you that, they're a sucker. It's most likely they're the sucker.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
if somebody don't know you, they might be like, they'll agree with it. But every time I met math, I'm like, nah, he wasn't like that to me. But it's just like people will just be sheep and just follow what everybody else is doing. And sometimes that ain't the truth.
Can I just say one thing,
And it's
though?
a dangerous area.
I just
Very
need to say
dangerous.
one thing about
Yeah.
this. Because one of the issues I have is that people don't necessarily understand domestic abuse and, like, from a woman's perspective, what a woman goes through, right? So when you say, well, I want to put him under the jail, it's not that simple for a woman who has been through abuse, right? One, it's humiliation. You know what I'm saying? She's dealing with control issues of being controlled. So it's just more than just, oh, you know, when I file a suit, oh, I want to make sure that person goes to jail. A lot of times you don't succeed when you take somebody or you try to, like, file charges against someone. It's very hard to get somebody,
Can you give me a case where that happened?
No, I can't. It's very personal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I have experience in that same situation of going to the authorities about domestic abuse and knowing what I had to go through as someone who has an education, who went to law school, and I'm sitting there and they make you feel like shit. So for someone like Cassie on that scale, you know what I'm saying, to be able to come out and say, this is happening to me, I don't even know the full story between what she was going through at that time. That tape was how many years old, right?
2016 or something?
Right,
Yes.
but when you get out of it, and people are motivated for their own reasons to do things. So we don't really know what the motivation was. And let's just say it was money at that time. Then, oh well, so what? After I'm trying to go through my healing, see, you got a problem with that. Why?
Because you said, then, oh well, so what?
But I'm saying, does the
I just feel like
motivation really matter at that point? What motivates you to go and stand up for something? Does it really matter?
Do the money change that though?
What do you mean?
When you said
Like when you get the money, after you get the money, do it change
so what?
like how you feel, what you went through?
It doesn't change it. You're always living with those scars, but
But
it
you
helps.
balling in Gucci,
Shit.
you in Gucci, you
That's
in
what it
Louis, you in
helps.
store.
after everything you've been through,
I'd rather cry in the Bentley, man. You know how it is.
If-
Oh my
you know
God. That's such a rough
it's never
life. I'm in
gonna
a Bentley
cure it.
now. That's
It's never
crazy.
gonna cure it.
Right.
But money, oh come on, does it help? Do I want the scars and be broke too, or would I rather have the scars and be good? Is that really a question?
All right. So when you say that, I gotta wonder, how do we, as the public, differentiate the people who have the scars and the people who's just after the money now? Since you said so okay. How do we
That's
how
what
do
you
how do
gonna
we
put it,
figure
so
out
okay.
who's after the bag and who got the scars? How
I
do we
think
figure
you
that
have
out?
to, I think you have to do your research. I think we should be sensitive to people when they file these allegations, right? I think we should read the cases. like when I read that case, I was like, and again, I had a different perspective because the lawyer who represented her represented me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how they get down. I know when they put in something, you know, as an allegation that they're going to take that to court, they're going to back it up. So I kind of felt like they were credible
Right.
in their suit and how they were making sure whatever they put on that, they were going to be able to prove. So, you know, I was able to read it and be like, well, damn, I believed it when I read it. I did. A lot of people didn't.
Had it been a man making these allegations, would you have believed it?
If it was the same situation, yes. When I saw the Michael Rainey stuff last week or whenever it was, right?
We're not comparing
Come on.
Michael Rainey.
Come on,
and
wait a
Cassie.
minute, wait a
We're
minute.
not about to do that, please.
When I saw them,
Please.
I'm not saying, no, we're not comparing it.
Right.
I'm just using it as an example.
Were you in outrage?
Yeah.
Like, oh
what
my
if that was
God,
my
what
son?
the-
And she put her hands on my son. I'ma feel away. You can't violate somebody like that. Now, it's not the same degree,
Of course not.
obviously, but I'm just saying, I felt like, yeah, there's questions of masculinity there. That's why men don't want to say something. If someone came up to you and just grabbed it, then what?
All right.
How you gonna feel?
Okay.
How you gonna feel?
In a Terry Lewis way?
In the same way that Michael Rainey was standing there in the live stream.
A female?
Yes. How you gonna feel?
It depends on how she look.
Bro,
That's
I went to
That's crazy.
I went to a porn convention last year. So that means I got
Forget
a
it.
bunch
Forget
of
this.
lawsuits. And I
Forget,
could just,
forget this conversation.
I'm gonna start hitting these pockets.
Forget
They
it.
had no rights. That's what
I
you
can't
said.
believe you said it depends on how she looks. Forget it. Let's move on. Forget it.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Okay, so in the case of the Michael Rainey thing, when you saw that, were you in outrage? Were you guys like, oh my God, this is, how could she?
She violated.
Yeah,
You did.
Thank you.
I was.
Right?
The reason I was is because I look at Michael Rainey and I look at his face. He was uncomfortable.
Very.
And he was in a situation where I could see in his face that he wanted to leave, but he was trying to be cool, right?
Right.
And nobody should be in that situation,
Right.
in that predicament, unless they want to be in that situation, predicament.
Right.
A lot of times we are so used to it, right? We go in a club and the girl slap you in your ass, you don't think nothing about it. You go in a club and the girl grab you, you don't think nothing of it because it happens so much when we was coming up. But you could tell from Michael Rainey, he looked so pure. It's just such I don't want to say a green kid, but he looked like a green kid. So when it happened, he looked disturbed more than
I think
anything
the
else.
biggest part was this little kids right here. I'm on camera. Why is this happening?
Well, not even that. His man's sister. It wasn't a random chick. That was his man's sister.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, the
That's
live streaming
crazy.
thing, you you never know if it was
That's
planned
his
or not.
guy's sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
You
a
know,
violation.
that's kind of crazy.
But it's our responsibility to be able to say that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in media, we should be able to call it out.
Of course.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, are we going to call that out the same way that we call out
Well,
the other,
I mean-
other things?
There's levels to this.
Yeah, the level of a man and the level of a woman. Right? That's a different level.
Okay.
If it happens to a woman,
It's true.
us guys, we're all right. Somebody got to get fucked up.
That was going. Yeah, it was going. 24-hour
Yeah.
news cycle. It was done.
If it
You don't
happens
see it
to
no
a
more.
man, yo, she nasty.
If
Keep
tables
it
would
moving.
turn, they would be canceling homies stream.
Yeah.
No, it'd be totally different.
He's got to
Absolutely.
handle himself.
Yeah.
That's what
Right.
people think. He's a man. He's got to handle himself.
Yeah.
And the nigga ain't pressing no charges on the female. Like, you don't normally see that. You don't normally
Never.
see a man like, oh, I'm going to press charges on her for grabbing my...
Because to a certain extent, we're still bound by our masculinity.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The lines haven't blurred completely for us. The lines aren't being pushed to be blurred for us, but they are being pushed to be blurred for women. Correct?
That's how you trick people in this chair.
I
You
don't
say
trick
something real
nobody.
fast.
That's
and then
not
you say,
trick.
I don't
Correct.
trick nobody. Look, I'm just a
Correct.
This is a
We gotta
state.
go back. Let me
It's
see
the
what
state
you're
of
saying.
society, right? Okay. They allowing trans men to compete in like MMA against women. Have you seen these videos?
Of course.
I haven't.
This shit looks brutal, bro. The shit looks brutal.
'Cause
I'm
at the
sitting
end
there
of the
like,
day, you got
who
male
okayed
strength. You got
this?
man strength.
Who
Don't they have to take some
okayed
type
this?
of like hormone suppressor or something like that to be able to
So they
compete?
say, right? So they say, right? But you have to look at it like this. And and this is how I would feel if my daughter was racing or swimming, playing MMA or any of those things, and she had to face a trans woman, I would have a problem with it, right? And I'm gonna tell you why I'd have a problem with it. That one swimmer, I can't remember the woman's name. She was trans. She came in like 252nd when she raced against other men. She transitioned to become a woman and came in first place, right? I would have a problem with that. If my daughter trained, my daughter went to practice every day, my daughter worked hard, my daughter did what she was supposed to do, trained, lifted weights, ran, did cardio, this, that, and the other. And now somebody transitioned, and I know they say, well, they take these pills to take the hormones out or whatever it may be.
Right.
You still got male strength, though.
It has to be a reason why these people that are transitioning are still stronger.
That's right.
There has to be a reason why these people that are transitioning are still faster. There has to be a reason why Caitlyn Jenner is saying, who is a trans person, is saying that's not right, that's not fair.
Right.
In my opinion, it's not.
That's definitely not.
It's not. It's not.
And the reason why
It's cheating. It's like building a 9-9 character on NBA 2K. You know what I'm saying?
It's not right.
It's not fair.
It's not right.
It's not, nah.
And that's my opinion. It's not. If my daughter was, it's not fair.
Okay. All right, let's move to the next topic because Kim's gonna stay very far away from this shit.
That's what. Why gotta be what Kim's gonna do?
I already know you're gonna do that. The tale of the tape. Finally, we have a documentary on how important mixtapes were to the hip hop community, to the growth of hip hop, to so a lot of the superstars that you see now. That's where they came from. Who could we say is could probably pin 99% of their success on mixtapes?
What DJ got 99% of the
Artists.
success?
Let's go artists first.
I mean, there's so many of them. You could say Fabulous. You could say Mace. You could say Jadakiss. You could say
The Locks, period.
You could say the Locks. You could even say
G-Unit.
I would say
50 Cent,
50.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Diplomats with their stuff,
hell yeah.
1,000%.
State property.
State property, 1,000%.
Big Sean, Wiz Khalifa. Nah.
Yeah, Wiz Khalifa, absolutely.
Wiz, yeah. Well, I would throw Wiz into
absolutely.
that. Not necessarily the New York scene, but
but
definitely a part of that. Big Sean, I don't know.
Finally Famous. All those Finally Famous
Finally
CDs. That's what got him signed with Kanye.
Oh, dope.
I think Jeezy, which is all that stuff he did with drama. So yeah, I think it broke a lot of artists, give a lot of artists shine that they wouldn't have
Gangsta
necessarily got.
Grills.
Absolutely, hands down.
Now, Envy, you being part of this era. Man, y'all niggas is getting money, bro.
Allegedly.
Y'all niggas is I mean, yeah, allegedly. Allegedly. But, yo. Because this is kind of like, it's kind of connected to the DVD era.
Most definitely.
And you know, me coming from battle rap and the relationship I had with Smack, I knew what it was. And these mixtapes, like, I know how much money I was spending on it every week. And then you guys were getting bootlegged, and it still seemed like there was still a lot.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know, Burkina.
Yeah.
You remember making stops down there?
B Street. B Street.
What was my man? The African on 14th Street. What was his name? Damn.
I can't remember.
But you know the spot, right?
Yep, of course.
Yo, uptown at the Hut.
The Hut. B Street.
Downtown
B
Brooklyn.
Street. B Street, definitely. The joint on Amsterdam, right? But they used to be right by the subway.
Yep. Smoke Shop.
Yep.
Yep.
Yo, bro, what? I
Those
mean, like,
was the
what were
days.
those weeks like? Like, okay, I just did this tape with Red Cafe, or I just did this tape with Fab.
Yeah.
I'm about to hit the streets. What was the? Walk us through what happens. I got the material.
Before we
Now
do that,
what?
I'm gonna tell you something funny, right?
Uh-huh.
My first fist fight ever, I lost.
Right.
It was to your man.
Who?
Smack.
Word?
Troy, yeah.
Smack beat you?
I ain't say it like that. I say it like that. You say it like that. Smack beat you?
Yo! Smack made his name off of you? That's crazy.
I didn't see that. But that was in second or third grade.
Second and
We
third?
went to school with each other.
Wow.
Say word.
Yeah.
That don't count.
Yeah, nah, I don't count. Boy.
Second and
But that
third.
was-
Second and third grade.
But that was my
don't
first
count,
fight.
nigga.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm the first fight.
First fight.
Smack ain't even have a beard, bro.
Yo, shout out to Smack.
Smack.
Yo,
though, you know
Smack,
what I
I
mean?
didn't know you was that violent, Smack.
That's Troy.
Word in third grade.
What you banned me for, Smack? You was out here doing things.
So let me tell you, the first day we was in school and man, we was playing ball or something. We got into it. So I picked up some dirt and I threw it right in his face. Boom. And he was like, the next day I'm gonna fuck you up.
Third grade.
He said, I'm gonna fuck you
Third
up.
grade. Smack is from Brooklyn. Y'all don't know that.
That's from Queens.
No, Smack is from Brooklyn, bro.
Smack is
He
from
moved out to Queens.
He's
But
the
he's from
queen,
Brooklyn.
man. He's the queen. Shout out to Smack. So right next day, I go home, I tell my pops, yo, pops, we're gonna get in a fight. He's like, all right, I'm gonna come make sure you good. Cause you know,
Your pops is gonna jump in.
hey, Smack is from one side of Queens, I'm from the other side of Queens. So you just never know.
Now keep it real. Your pops just threw like 100 tons of pressure on you.
Word. Word.
I'm gonna be in the audience.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the audience. So I'm
You
like,
wanna
all
beat
right.
his ass? I'm gonna beat your ass.
So now, boom. You know, recess come. Boom.
Right.
So I'm ready. I'm like, all right. I see my pops at the gate. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna get jumped. Smack starts charging towards me. This is like recess. Like it wasn't even like no ooh, and
nothing.
there was no circle. He's directly
Nothing.
at me.
It's just-
So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna tear with one hit. Boom!
Right.
So I go miss him.
Miss it.
That's all she wrote.
Oh,
That's all she wrote.
so did he tackle you and
I
MMA
I
style?
remember I was on the floor like, all right. You know, when you start losing, like, all right, you got it. You got it. That was my first fight.
Wow.
Damn, that's crazy. I thought you was gonna say it happened when y'all was grown.
I think that was that
No.
funny, man. I feel like I just
No, 'cause, you know, my imagination is very vivid. I'm picturing you blocking and then looking over to the gate to your pops, and your pops is looking at you.
Hey, throw the towel.
It was a bad one. But I never lost a fight after that. Never lost a fight
Oh,
after
you
that.
couldn't.
No.
There was no way. There was no
You live
way.
and you learn.
You had the best start. You had the best start.
Best start, third grade.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to Smack.
Some people win, and then they get knocked out or beat up, and they can't do it no
It's take
more.
one, but hey, that's my guy. But back to your question. I always find that story to be funny because that's my Smack's my guy.
Yo, shout out to Smack.
That's my guy.
You banned me for nothing.
Yeah. So the mixtapes would be like, so we would do a mixtape every 3 weeks, right? Every 3 weeks, and Clue started where exclusives mattered, right? So you wanted the newest record first.
Right.
So to get the exclusives, you had to outthink all the other DJs that were doing it, right? So we would go to the engineers in the studio, right? Most engineers back then wasn't making no money, so we give them a little $100. They're gonna give you whatever they want. So we would get the exclusives like that. The interns. So Def Jam was the biggest label, and they had the most interns. So you get them a couple $100 because they were working for free. This is when interns used to work for free.
Yeah.
So you give them some money, and they steal the dats off the wall.
Now,
Next thing.
Now that I know that to be true because I heard DMX's album probably 2-3 months before it came out. And I know all the changes they made to it. To when X was singing it, then he got somebody else to sing the hook. And
I heard
changed
I'm a
the hook
boss
to this
before it
and
came
this
out.
and
Rick
that.
Mills. I'm a boss.
But I remember those days just getting, because my homie, he was an intern at Def Jam, and he would just come through and be playing everything. But then when the albums came out, we would get to see the difference. Like, oh, they put such and such on the hook. Oh, they put this person on the verse. So,
And it was mostly Irv Gotti. Because Irv Gotti would be the producer and engineer, so he would take it and he'd be blasting the music. If you ever went to Def Jam and you walked by Irv Gotti,
oh, yeah, it was a party.
he was always playing it loud.
Yeah.
So the interns would steal that. And then
Right.
the last one would be the valet. The valet at the restaurants, the valet at whatever, clubs or valet at whatever, car washes. You get them a little extra, they'll take the CD. That's how I got paid for my downfall. Took it out of Big's truck. But yeah, so yeah, but that's how we would get all the music, and then we would just mix it around. And so we do the mixtape.
Was Puff looking for you for a little while?
A little bit. Yeah, Puff, C's, Big, all of them at one time.
Wow. Wow.
How about when you put out that Beanie Siegel disc?
You know the Beanie Siegel disc, that was one of the Rockefeller mixtapes. And we was at Rockefeller every day just trying to get records.
Right.
And Lenny S would see us every day, and Lenny S was like, yo, I wanna kind of get my name out there. He wanted to do the mixtapes with us. And I'm like, shoot, you bringing all the Rockefeller exclusives, let's do it. And at the time, nobody wanted to get in between the beef because Clue was cool with them. So I wasn't cool with nobody. I'm trying to get a name for myself. So I'm like, let's rock. And BD came with the freestyle, and the rest was history.
Did you catch any flack behind that?
Nah, that's the crazy part. As much as you would think Jadakiss and the Locks would be mad, they never would show me no ill will. They always show me love. They understand it was music and never had a problem with it.
Yeah, I think that particular battle or whatever, it wasn't what the rest of them were. Like it wasn't, when I see him, I'm gonna do this. It was more of because they had just came off tour when the shit started.
Right. Nah, Kiss and them said it could have got active.
No. Styles P he did say that, but that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there was a
mutual.
We're pushing our pens. We really want to be better lyrically. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you pay the valet, you pay the intern, you pay the engineer, you got the tape.
Right.
What was the next step?
Next step is putting the tape together. So now it's formatting. It's like anything else. It's like, well, the biggest artists go in the front. So if it's DMX, Jay, Biggie, Nas, whoever that is, T.I., they go in the front of the mixtape.
Right.
You always start with a freestyle, whether it was Fab freestyling back then. Or
but that first spot, how did you decide that?
The hottest record. The record, because you think about it like this. All the Africans that you name, Burkina, whoever, on 125th Street, they only gonna play a snippet of it. So you only got 20 to 30 seconds to get somebody's attention.
Right.
So you gonna play the hottest song right then and there. So as soon as that tape start, you're gonna play a freestyle from somebody spitting, or you're gonna play the biggest record that you have, because you only got 30 seconds for somebody to make a decision if they're gonna buy your tape, or buy a Clue tape, or buy a Green Lantern, or buy a Who Kid, or buy a SNS, or Craig G. You only got 30 seconds. So you're gonna put the biggest record there. And then you just go from there and you just format it to where you want to format it.
But that first slot, sometimes that was an indicator that, sometimes it did go to the hottest song or hottest freestyle. Sometimes it was an indicator that this particular DJ is working with this artist.
Correct.
And that was when around the time, like, because in that era you had Clue, had Fab, you had Brooklyn News.
Yeah, Red Cafe.
And
so that was after, but I had News and Coke, and then I had Red Cafe.
Right.
And,
Coke.
K-Slay had Papoose.
Yep.
So all the DJs, that was their thing. They was putting their artists first before anything. They was,
No.
I
I
Clue was
so-called
putting
battle
Fab
Coke before.
Yeah.
In one of Foxy's sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about it? Probably not. Yeah,
How'd it
you wouldn't
go?
hear about
So
that.
Coke was he was a writer, right?
Yeah.
And he wrote for probably a lot of your favorite artists out
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
He was never a battle rapper, but we threw him into it. And like he battled
'Cause he had
Cassidy.
bars.
Yeah, he
He had
battled
bars.
Cassidy. But with Coke, he was just always lazy. Like he'd write 5 records and then he wouldn't write for another 6 months. But like that's who he was. But he was just always dead nice. To this day, he's dead nice with the bars.
Yeah. Shout out to Mouse. Shout out to
Mouse was another one of
Mouse, he was running around with that information about that battle for a while.
he was a writer too.
Yeah, shout out to Mouse.
How did you connect with, Coke, News?
No, hold on. I still want to know this. Okay. How are you moving around? You got the tape.
Yes, I got the tape.
That's mine.
Oh, that's
My
yours,
bad.
okay.
It's because I turned it off and then it has the emergency breakthrough.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
handle this,
Go ahead.
handle this.
And my emergency breakthrough was my wife. That's when I heard that. I'm talking my wife.
That's what we
what
was joking about before.
Yeah.
You only got one person. I got a bunch of people on emergency breakthrough.
So
Go ahead, man.
we make the tape, and then
How much are you pressing?
it depends. So the first run was about maybe 5,000 tapes.
5,000.
5,000 tapes.
And that's costing you what at the time?
At the time, we was buying. The dope thing about me and Clue is we use the same machines. So if Clue has 10 machines, I have 5. So now we have 15. So when we doing the tape, we just running and getting them out. And then
And that's the 10. That's the stacks that
The
make
disc.
stacks. Yep.
10 at a time.
First we did tapes, and then we did 10 at a time CDs.
Okay.
And we would just send them out. So we kind of jumped on Clue's bandwagon pause. So because Clue had everybody. So it got to a point where Clue got so big, he needed people to help him distribute his stuff out. So we were distributing his stuff out, but now we see what stores he's going to. We see how much he's selling it for. We see all the stuff that he's doing. And we kind of connected on him. So we played on his piggyback. And then it would be a drop day. And drop day would be the best day ever because you're going from borough to borough, dropping off tapes, going to stores, and they paying you cash, and you going and you sending out cash on delivery.
What day was drop day?
It didn't matter. Whenever the tape was done, whenever we had enough to get it out. So we would send it, let's say we send it to every store on a Monday, we would drop on Tuesday. So that way the out-of-town stores got it at the same time as New York did.
Okay. All right. and then drop there. You're driving around.
Me and Splash. Splash was my partner. Was also Clue's partner. We would I would hit Brooklyn, Queens. He would hit Harlem and the Bronx. So I would hit Harlem and the Bronx in the city. He'd hit Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island, and we just mash it up that way.
And you getting like $2 a tape.
Nah, like $4 or $5 a tape. This when they were selling tapes for $10. We get $5 a tape. Mm-hmm.
So if you do a math on that, right? It's like you said 5,000.
Carry the one.
And then 5.
Yeah, that's
Right.
a carry the one.
Right, so you making like,
Allegedly.
like 25,000.
You see, like I've
You doing the math.
I've had cars since I was 19. I bought my first crib at 21.
Right.
So when people say, "Oh, I've been doing this a long time," you know what I mean?
Yeah, so think about that. Every weekend they making 25,000, 30,000. And then, you know what I mean? They're anything in the clubs. And people paying for spot. How much? What was the most you ever charged for a spot on a mixtape?
We never charged for a spot on mixtape.
Never.
Mm-mm.
Ever. But people were doing it.
I know people would. They would call and ask, and the reason I never did is Clue always said, if you get money to play somebody's record on your mixtape, you're gonna be indebted to it. And he was like, you don't need to do that. So for me, it wasn't worth it. I just never had to do it.
Right. So there was never a time where somebody came to you, yo, I got 100 for you.
Mm-mm.
But the artist is like, trash.
He was making way more than that.
But people were approaching you with that all the time.
All the
I
time.
imagine.
All the time.
Because I know there was a couple of times I hooked up with a couple of the OGs and was like, yo, what can we do? Let's go find such and such. So what was the biggest offer you got for a spot on the mixtape? Just to show y'all how important this shit was. Like,
I mean, they'd offer thousands of dollars to get on the tape, 10,000 to be the first song on the tape. We got all that.
10,000
Mm-hmm.
for a slot
On a mixtape.
mixtape.
Mhm.
Bro, that's crazy. Rest in peace to DJ Whiteout. And I say that because I never met the brother.
Mhm.
But somehow he got one of my records from Keyz, and he threw that as
Rest
the
in
first
peace, Slade.
record on a 50 Cent mixtape. And I was just baffled, like, how did this happen? Like, and apparently he just loved the record. He passed away though. So rest in
That's
peace
dope.
to DJ Whiteout.
Rest in peace.
But it meant so much. Every time we picked up these tapes, you know, who's first? Obviously. Who else you got on there? And sometimes it would be like some dope shit at the end, but for the most part, you didn't get past number 17. So it
You
was
never got
like,
that far.
yeah, you don't need to go past
Nah, you
17.
never
son.
got that far.
Just right there. You stop
I
right
ain't
there.
gonna lie, I
You
used to
good.
listen to the whole shit.
Right.
I went and bought it. I get mad when my shit pop. Gotta go get another one with the cassette tapes. That shit was crazy.
Right.
But I always fuck with the mixtapes and the cassettes and shit.
What would you say was your favorite moment from those eras? What was your biggest tape, by the way?
I had two. One was the Rockefeller mixtape with the Beanie Siegel, and the other one was when they gave me Hit 'Em Up, and I was the first DJ to play Hit 'Em Up.
How did you feel though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, playing that record.
So I did all my mixtapes at my mom's house, right? Mom's basement.
Right.
And every artist you could think of has been down there to do freestyles, from Joe Button, Fabulous, Fat Joe, Freeway. I remember Freeway came, he came to my mom's house to do a freestyle, and this is when he was beefing with Nas. And he was like, yo, I gotta go to the store and get some, you can't smoke at my mom's house. He was like, I gotta go to the store and get some. I was like, all right. I said, the store around the block. I said, but be careful, you in Queens. That nigga opened up his sheet. He's like, I got the Mac with me. I'm like, oh my God. My mom come down here to see this motherfucking Uzi with me. But he went and got it, but
Right.
so I remember doing the record, about to do a mixtape, and my man called me. I ain't gonna say who it is. I'll never. One day I'm sure he'll say who it is, and I'm sure you guys know it. Producer came and was like, "Yo, I got this record, but I need you to hear it." I'm like, "All right, come by." He comes by, plays it. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Nah.
But so now
How old are you at this time?
I was in college, so I had to be like maybe 19, maybe 20. So now I'm looking at it like this. I'm like, now this is my dilemma. I'm like, I'm a New York nigga. Fuck these niggas. And I'm like, but yo, this is what I'm thinking. I'm like, but Puff don't be giving me exclusives. They give him just a clue.
Yo, after a while, you start reasoning it like, wait a minute, Puff don't really fuck.
I'm like,
with
Puff
me
don't even do drops for me. I'm like, Big never mentioned me in a song. Niggas don't really fuck with me like that. Them niggas is Brooklyn niggas. I'm a Queens nigga too. So you start going back and forth. Right?
Yo, that's
like,
crazy.
Savage.
Then I'm like, you know what? Home for spring break. I dropped this. I go back to. I went to Hampton. Shut the Hampton. I went to Hampton. I'm like, I go back to college. Niggas ain't gonna find me anyway. I'm like, fuck it. Let's do it.
Right.
Yeah. Do the shit. Boom. Go. Drop the tape. Pew! Nigga like wildfire, bro. Yo.
That shit.
Woo, when I say every New York executive was looking for me, mad at me, but you know, I was
but it wasn't just you. I mean, you set it off there, but then I'm sure it was Uncle Ralph playing the video.
Yeah, everybody started playing it. Yeah.
This shit is everywhere. It's on, like, yo, bro. But what? From that moment, the shit comes out. Who's hitting your line? Who's calling you? Like, yo, what the fuck did you do?
Everybody. I mean, I got so many calls from execs. Puff was looking for me. Then I did another time I stole a record. Irv called me, and the name of I remember this. The name of the tape was called "Wanted Dead or Alive," right? Nigga, Irv was like, "Yo, when we catch you, we gonna fuck you up." This is Irv. It's like a perfect name for your tape. "Wanted Dead or Alive." I'ma see you, my nigga. But like that's how it was.
That's crazy.
Right.
And it was like, you know, if you ever remember us going out, we used to go out 30 deep.
Right.
But I mean, and you know, because I went to college with my man Mel, so he was from Brooklyn.
Right.
So it'd be 20 of us from Brooklyn, 20 of us from Queens, because we just had to make sure. We just always had to be on alert, because you just never knew.
Because y'all was doing some grimy
We was. But we put music out. We was.
Did you bump heads
For the love of
with
the
Irv Gotti
game.
after that?
You know what it is after time,
Yeah, shit calms down.
shit calms down.
You just got to make sure you don't run into him right
We're in
away.
that immediate situation.
Right.
Then you on radio now. Irv is coming to radio. We can laugh about it at that point. But at that time, I'm sure if we'd have seen any of them, it would have been on and popping.
Right. Is it? Who do I know? Y'all know these people?
Nah.
Yeah. Who they with? Nobody? Nobody know?
Oh, we'll see.
Yo, tell them get up out of here, bro.
You got a championship belt and all of that? They trying to promote something? Yeah, they trying to promote something.
You got a belt.
Yeah, you got a wrestling belt.
It's the hood, baby.
Second
Bad
Avenue.
thing is when you drive certain cars and they don't see certain cars, they know that's my car.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying?
Oh, so they were stopping to talk to you.
They seen the car,
They
they were
say
taking
Queens
pictures
on
by the
the
car.
shirt.
Yeah, see,
You
they
got
taking
Queens.
pictures by the car. See what I'm saying?
What's the championship belt for?
I
Like,
have no idea.
yo, as we're talking about you being wanted,
That's the
yeah, man.
Yo, if they around somewhere,
As
look,
soon
there
as
goes
they
his
see
car.
the car, they see.
Nigga dropped my single back in the days. I'm waiting to see this nigga.
That's what it is.
Yo, all right. So, were there any incidents where they did catch you
Nah.
and you was just out? You just
Back then we ran with so many people, it would be an uncomfortable situation. So we never had a situation. And then shout out to Web and Nitty from Queens. Those are my big brothers, so they was always with me. So
Right.
it never went to that level.
when did the labels get smart and be like, yo, let's just start working with these motherfuckers?
I would say a couple of years in, the labels started sending records, right? Because now the labels were using us as a tool to market, because it was free marketing for them. They didn't have to pay no money for promotion.
Right.
You just give a DJ a record, and then that's what happened. It was like, it would be certain labels to fuck with certain niggas. Like, I know Bad Boy would fuck with Clue and SNS, and Rockefeller would fuck with me, and this one would fuck. And it was to the point where it was like, they were using it as a tool to launch their rapper's career. So no longer did we have to put out a street record, give it to the DJs, let it rock, and then we'll come with the single for radio, and it always worked.
And you guys actually became the taste testers because you could kind of report to them and be like, well, this is how they responded to that record. Or they could hear it in the streets like, that might not be the one to lead off with.
Or it was immediate reaction. You got to think, when we drop a tape, this is when New York was live. So, the routine would be every night. I can't remember what the night was, Thursday or Wednesday. We drive up 125th and everybody's outside blasting music out their cars. Then we go to Grant's Tomb and everybody's out at Grant's Tomb. Then we go to, in the Bronx and everybody's in the Bronx. You go downtown Brooklyn, everybody's Brooklyn. We go to Jamaica Ave, and that's all you had to do because people were outside. They were listening to music. So you could hear the song that everybody's rocking with.
Right.
Oh, this song? That's the single we going with. And that's what it was. This is when label people actually did work and didn't just, go on TikTok to see what records get the most spins.
Let's see how many numbers, how many followers they got. Oh, okay.
And then, this is when we took trips. This is before, we really went to Miami. We would drive to 4th of July in, Virginia Beach. We go to Philly Greek. We go to Jones Beach. We go to Orchid Beach. We'll go to, all those different places where people would be just to hear the sounds of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, people would really hear what, the popular mixtapes and all that.
Dope. Favorite mixtapes?
We always get asked this question, and it's a Kid Capri tape for sure.
Kid Capri?
Me?
Shout out to Kid.
I'm a little older than y'all.
Right.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
I know I don't look it.
Okay.
But I'm a little older than y'all.
Right.
So Kid Capri, Ron G. But I haven't heard these mixtapes in years, which is crazy because, they keep it in the vault. It's some astronomical number to get the old mixtapes, right?
Now?
If I asked you to give me your mixtape collection, how much it's gonna cost me?
I wouldn't give it up. It's my mom's house.
See? So if you don't have these tapes, they no longer exist. So we were actually debating the other day or like which mixtape it was. And I think I said it was 50 MCs?
Yeah, I think it's 52 Beats that you're talking about.
My favorite is definitely a Kid Capri tape.
Right.
Definitely Soul to Soul is on there. That remix. Do you know which mixtape I'm talking about?
I don't know the name of it, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, I can remember because I mark it with specific events in my life. So that's how, and I remember I was at a funeral and we blasted that mixtape at the funeral.
What record was on it that you was like?
I just said Soul to Soul.
Soul to Soul, okay.
Soul to Soul. I'm taking you back to like 91, 92. Early days. And
Was I born?
Don't be
This
funny.
nigga's slow.
Was I born?
What was one of yours? Doo-Wop 95 Live.
Doo-Wop? Dope.
95
One of
Live.
mine was The Professional.
Clue.
Because, the Professional, because it
Summertime
had the
Shootout, baby.
Rough Rider remix on it. That was my shit.
But that's part of like
That's
what we're
commercial
doing
mixtape.
with this doc is telling the story of mixtapes. And I think a lot of our stories in hip hop have become lost.
Right.
So this is a labor of love. We've been working on this for over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Yeah, because I noticed you have Combat Jack in
Rest
the
in peace.
footage. You have Prodigy in the footage. Rest in peace. Anybody else that might not be here anymore?
Who else is on there?
That's not here anymore.
Like those two.
Yeah, just those two.
Those two.
We tried to get Slay, but it didn't happen. Then he got sick.
Rest in
Keyz
peace.
Slay.
Drama King.
Rest in peace to Keyz Slay, the Drama King. Now, speaking of drama, y'all had beef too.
Me and Slay?
No, not you and Slay.
Oh, me and Slay. had beef.
You and Slay did have beef.
Yeah.
But like DJs, period.
Yeah.
Like there were certain DJs was like, I'm fuck with him, da da da. Y'all was sending shots and the
Of course.
and the little intros and all that. Yo, it was like a whole nother world. And we got to enjoy that. It was like, okay, all right, there might not be no diss records on this shit, but they sending shots and it was the sound effects, boom, 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 boom. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Boom, 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 boom. You're like, oh, man, it's going down.
DJ Keyz Slay, slap your favorite DJ.
What was the memorable moments for you? Was it Slay?
Definitely Slay. Definitely Slay. Slay was, the dope thing about Slay was a DJ that catered to the streets heavy, right?
Facts.
And not just because it was streets and then there was streets.
Right.
Keyz Slay, he
Streets,
And
jails.
jails. Like he came from a different angle. Like I always say, I came for the angle of when I was coming up, and I tell the story all the time. My memory of a DJ was overweight, sweaty, not cool, right? If you remember the DJs, you go back, they always had white t-shirts on, overweight, always
Yeah,
sweat.
towel.
Yeah, never look cool.
Headphones to the side.
Headphones to the side. That was it. So when I started DJing, I'm like, I'm gonna be a fly nigga. Like I'm gonna be. That's why I came up with something like a rapper. Like I got cars like rapper, jewelry like rappers.
Right.
I wanted to be that, and that was my lane. I'm gonna fuck with the chicks.
Right.
Slay fuck with the streets, and when me and Slay were going back and forth with it,
How did it start?
I don't even know how it started. Probably, I think it was one of my partners at the time, Splash and Slay got into it.
Right.
And then I jumped in helping my partner, and me and Slay we were gonna fight 36 times, and then the mixtape awards, we was going back at each other. And it was funny because it was just a phone call and it was squash.
Right.
Right? And I remember Slay was like, yo, come to my crib. I'm like, this nigga might be lining this up. He's like, nah, come to my crib, come to my crib.
Right around the corner.
So me and Coke went.
Yeah.
Right? So me and Coke went, and I was like, yo, Coke, just keep the blicker just in case.
Yeah.
And I remember I called Slim, like, yo, we here. He was like, all right, I'm gonna throw the key down. Throw the key down. I was like, what the fuck on?
The other side of this block.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Threw the key down,
Right.
we open the door, we go inside, we go to Slate crib. I'm like, damn, we talked, we had a good conversation. And then after that, we always supported each other, even though that I went to the other station, but he changed the mixtapes and made it even more for the streets. I thought we was for the streets, but he got the people that was locked up. He had the people that didn't have second chances. He had the people that was addicted to drugs. He had the people. He came from that angle,
Right.
And I just feel like people didn't get a chance to really understand that. And when he passed, they started seeing it more and more and more. But I just felt like he was one of those people that, we were talking earlier, that didn't get the credit that they deserved.
Right.
He was one of those dudes, and he stayed to that. Like he was the one that was gonna put Math on regardless. He was gonna put a battle rapper on. He was gonna put this person on. And he didn't say, yo, Math, you number 17 on the tape. He's like, no, Math is dope, he's going number 1. Math is dope, I'm putting him 2. Like
That was
Pat was always 1, but
That was
he was going right after, and that's how he looked at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was always a huge respect for Slay.
Yeah, wow.
Rest in peace, Keyz Slade. We're gonna take a 5-minute break. So how did the whole thing come together? When did y'all decide, like, yo, okay, you said 10, this is 10 years in the making.
10 years in the making.
Yeah.
Why 10?
Why that long?
Yeah.
This
You know
is
how long it takes anything to come out when you're doing it with your own money?
self-funded.
Self-funded.
Self-funded. Yeah. And so, originally, I was producing for Rap City for years and, just working, documenting DJs, artists. The mixtape was always the connective tissue that, like, everybody kind of spawns from. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I wanted to tell that story. It just made sense. Me and Kim have been working on a bunch of projects together. I was her right hand. She was my right hand. And it just, her history was like, we need to come together and make this work.
Now, you've been involved in the whole hip-hop scene for a long time. You even filmed a couple smack battles.
I filmed.
I don't mean to keep bringing up smack.
That's so good. That's my guy.
That's
my guy.
That's going to be the next tale of the tape.
Yeah.
DVD era.
Right.
That's when I first saw your right hand.
Oh, great.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember it was a melee, right? And back then, I was just a cameraman. I started as a cameraman. Before I started producing, I was a cameraman.
Right.
And Smack would call some of my boys, it was a hustle, right? Just like the mixtape hustle, camera guys, or what we working at today, what we working at this weekend. We borrow equipment from the equipment room at MTV or BET to work on the sides. And Smack would pay us like maybe $150 or $200. We record. That fight happens. He made sure I didn't get my money until I turned the tape over. That's how he
Why
operated.
you call me?
I didn't know. After that, I wasn't calling you. I went to the gym. Just in case. So this guy's violent.
So what happened?
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, this was the Serious Jones battle?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
You recorded that? Oh,
I recorded a lot of battles.
So who won the fight?
Oh, come on. Stop.
Positive
Math
energy
clear- math
only.
cleared it
I was
out.
asking. I don't know.
Nah,
I
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah,
You really don't know?
don't know. No.
Oh.
We saw it coming.
Thank
Like
you.
everybody was like, look at all the camera. I was like,
You saw it coming?
But let me ask you a question. As a rap battle,
Right.
Rap battler.
right? Rap battler. I thought the rules were no matter how disrespectful it gets,
Right.
you keep it rap battle.
Well, you know
What
what?
pushed you to that point?
He
I didn't eat the whole day.
Get
I was hangry, bro. I was hangry.
That's his
a Snickers,
angry.
nigga. You gotta hit a nigga.
No, just to keep it funky, we were in there for like 12 hours, correct?
at least.
12 hours at an event. And all the fans just keep feeding me Hennessy. Yo, Mav, you my favorite. Yo, what you drinking?
Now, when we went in
All
the
night.
kitchen, it was like, it's no food. Word the mother. We went in the kitchen. there was like no food. I'm like, yo, that's
And,
wow.
you know, Beasley kept telling me, yo, you going next, you going next.
That sound like these.
5 hours later, I'm like, the hell is going on? Then we were supposed to go on the stage. I'm on the stage. It takes him 15 minutes to get to the stage. He comes on the stage with 3 half-naked women with body paint on them.
I ain't gonna lie, they look nice though. Word. It's a gap fact.
You were there, Gat?
I was there. I was on stage.
So as I'm rapping, they're like jiggling their joints at the crowd, twerking and all that. You know, it's like, you know, battle rap events be like a sausage fest. It's nothing but dudes in there. They've been drinking all night. They're seeing something that they've never seen at a battle rap before. I mean, after the rebuttal, which I'm so mad that never came out, because I hit him with a crazy rebuttal just for having those 3 chicks on the stage. The crowd went crazy. And after that, it was just ass and titties. It was like, oh, man. And then the heckling. I mean, I was wrong.
So what line was it that made you swing? Like, what got you?
No, I said a line, and he looked at me, and he went, woo, like mocking me and shit. And I was like, not you. Not, okay, all right, cool. And, you know, it went where it went.
You ever speak to him after that?
Of course, we battled after that.
We got squashed it out and everything. Y'all were cool after that?
We were cool. But you know, the problem with...
Because I couldn't battle you again, because now I'm like, this nigga get it. I got to, next time, especially I know it's on camera, I got to get the upper hand. I'm going to swing first.
I was gonna say that. You gotta swing first.
And you know what? I walked into that knowing that was a possibility. Luckily, it didn't happen like that. We shook hands outside, and I think the handshaking got more views than the actual battle. But all it takes is a couple fans to be like, Math did this to you, and he'll be mad at me again. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But wow, he was there for that.
I was there for that. Yeah.
Damn,
Like I said,
who got the...
Beasley got the
I just
sure
wish,
you still
I
work
just
with
wish
him?
they got through the whole battle because this
About a
nigga
year.
had some fire ass
Yo, I got some bread now, bro. You can let me have that, bro. You can send that my way. You know?
I was doing some work with them for like when they had the caffeine deal with Drake and all that.
Right.
We was doing like, as a company, we was doing the promo videos for them. So it was cool, like full circle 10, 15 years later to be working with them in a different aspect.
To see how
But, yeah.
the you know, for starting here and,
Yeah,
and going
absolutely.
there. Wow.
But our second installment for Taylor the Tape is going to be the DVD era. So we'll be talking to him, and you, of course, but we'll be talking to him about his footage. Maybe I can, you know what I mean?
The HD. Overhand and HD. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, so, but during that time, you still have the idea in your mind, because that was about 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, yo, somebody needs to tell this mixtape story. Why?
Yeah, like, you know, like Kim was saying, like, it's important that we tell our stories, period. Like, we can't allow other people to tell our stories, and we can't, like, lose these legends and not have things documented. You know, this actually came about, the idea, years ago, I did a job for Camille Cosby. She hired me to go to the South and just interview not, you know, people that weren't that known in the civil rights era. So, you know, like a gentleman that might have started the local chapter in Mississippi,
Right.
sitting with him and his family and telling their story, because it was like, she's like, we got to get all this before these people go away.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so part of it was that. It was like, we need to tell that. We need people to tell their story. We're all, you know, children of hip hop, and we love it. And we're storytellers, not content creators. Storytellers, filmmakers.
Right. Go. So, in creating this thing, what are your favorite moments?
Probably having Drama and the affiliates tell the story. You know, Drama, Don Cannon, and Sense. I interviewed them separately. All their stories match about the raid, word for word.
Shout out to Don Cannon.
You know what I mean? And a close second would have to be with Rest in Peace Combat Jack. Because he was always, you know, very inviting and, you know, genuine with giving out, you know, dropping jewels and whatnot. I don't know him as the lawyer like some people do. I know him as, you know, the OG podcast man. You know what I mean? And so, but he was really dope. You know, I'm from Brooklyn. He was in Brooklyn at the time, his wife's bakery. That's where we did the interview. And we just we talked through a lot of it. He was able to explain a lot of the legalities that drama wasn't able to fully explain because he's not a lawyer. So to me, it was those two moments.
So with that knowledge that you have now, what would you say brought about the end of the mixtape era?
Shit, I mean,
that's for all you guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll start
internet.
with it. Yeah.
The internet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that raid shook up the game a lot. You know what I mean? Those dudes went and just made sure their label shit was straight. You know what I mean? With Generation Now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and who Keyz says in the film, he's like, a lot of the artists that Drama and them helped put on, they wasn't standing with them like, yo, this is wrong, this is unjust.
Yeah, well, you hear the feds, it's like, whoa, you got chicken pox, nigga, get away from this nigga. Everybody do that. Did you get any of the Congress people who approved the raid or anything like that?
Nah, they didn't want to talk.
They didn't want to talk.
Nah, we reached out. They didn't want to talk.
Crazy. All right, so the ending of the mixtape era, did that contribute to New York losing its grip on hip hop?
Pause.
Grip
Everything
on
is a
hip hop?
pause.
Yo, come on, bro. Like, come on,
I just had to get that in there, boy.
Pause.
I said pause.
That's a pause.
He said it
said-
low,
I
though.
just
He
had
said
to
it mad
get
low.
that
I heard.
in
I was
there.
like, all
You
right.
heard pause, right?
I just had to get that in there. Pause, bro. You crazy.
But I think that was part of it. I think that was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the club scene dying in New York was part of it.
How did it die?
I think when the mayor, I can't remember what mayor was. Maybe it was what's his name?
Juliana?
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg?
When Bloomberg started shutting down the clubs.
Perfections, lust.
Everything was shut down in New York
All
City.
the
They
good
moved it to the
ones.
boroughs. Like you think of any major city, they have a club district, right? You could talk Orlando, you could talk Miami, you could talk Houston, you could talk whatever. They shut that down in New York. Like think about it right now. If you want to go out and party in New York, there's not too many options.
Mm-hmm.
So then you start going to the boroughs, and we all know the problem with the boroughs. You're a Queens nigga. You're not going to Brooklyn.
We got starlets. That's it, right? We just got starlets.
That's it.
And what else?
Starlets is like the meeting.
Everything else is outside of New York.
That's right. So it's like it killed it. So you don't even get a vibe anymore. Before you get a club, like you have people running up to the club. They got a new record. They going right to the club, play my record. You don't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got a lot of people that moved out of New York.
Yeah.
That moved to Atlanta. Like you think of some of these artists in Atlanta. A lot of their parents and family are from New York. They done moved out because it's too expensive to live here, or it's not safe enough to live here. So that killed it a lot. And then New York lost its sound, right? It started. It was no more the
Sounded like
boom bap
everybody.
sound no more.
Right.
It was no more spitting. It was more of the I'm gonna be drugged up. I'm gonna be lean. I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna be that. And then you started seeing New York artists chasing that sound.
But why though? That was the question to me, because there were
Getting
artists
more
like
airplay.
Troy Ave, who was still keeping the boom bap going, and he was definitely getting some headlines. He was getting features with people, staying independent, all that shit. There was Joey Badass, who was still boom bap, who never really got radio play out here. There was, there's Sean Price. When Sean Price started to blow up or become very known, he wasn't getting any radio play out here. Why was that happening?
He wasn't getting no radio play. They were getting no club play. They were getting, like, most radio reacts off of usually what people want to hear, right?
Right.
So if you go to the club right now, right? You go right now, and we talk boom bap era, right? What boom bap record do you hear in the club right now? Not gonna hear nothing. You'll hear Pop Smoke. You'll hear Cash Cobain. You'll hear Ice Spice. You'll hear that, but it's no boom bap. It's more drillish sounding. It's more southern sounding. You don't hear none of that. The only boom bap records I play in the club, honestly, is Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself. I don't care what age you are, you listen to that.
Yeah.
50 Cent, I Get Money. I don't care what age you was.
You listen to
And
that.
before that, niggas would play Benjamins. Those are the three records that you would hear in a club. That it doesn't matter if you were the South Club or Up Top Club or West Club. You would hear those three records.
I'm a hustler, Cassidy.
But the sound has evolved throughout the
That's boom bap.
generations. Like you got younger kids now, their ear is trained to listen to music differently.
Why?
So they're not listening. It's just generational, right?
When you say it's just generational, I don't agree
We don't
with
listen
that.
to the same sounds that our parents did.
I do.
They have a different. I
See, the only reason I would
study
say
it,
maybe
we do.
not is the West Coast has a sound.
Right.
And that sound is a sound that It don't matter.
And it hasn't
stays
changed.
there. It might change it a little bit, but that mustard beat, that Dre beat, it's all that sound.
Right.
And when you know what I mean, and when you hear a record, you know it's like it's West Coast, and they support each other. They support each other. Like as soon as that record came out, the West was on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not like us.
There's no New York rapper that come out with a New York. They be like, let me hear that again. We don't do that. We don't support our own like these other markets do, which is the sad part. But Atlanta got a sound. West Coast got a sound.
You don't think New York has a sound?
Not no more. There's no sound.
The drill sound isn't the New York sound?
The drill sound.
That's
Chicago.
That's a Chicago sound that we kind of adapted to and changed, put a little thing. But that's more of a Chicago. And I don't even think drill is, niggas ain't rocking drill like that.
No, not really.
Not no more.
Boom bap is still the New York sound.
And
And
it's gonna always be the New York sound.
It was just not the popular sound right now. But it's always going to be the New York sound.
what would you classify like the young MA record? Ooh.
That'd be the New York sound. Bobby Shmurda's New York sound. Young M.A.'s New York sound. It's boom bap. It's a different type, but it's
evolved.
Kick snare evolved. They spitting.
It still follows that.
Yep.
So the mixtape's falling apart. The clubs. Was there anything else? Because I can definitely pinpoint and say from this time, labels did not sign anyone from New York.
I would say this too, and out of New York, niggas moved out of New York. Like you go to any city, right? Yeah, I've seen you in LA, I've seen you in Atlanta, I've seen other people. These niggas go to their cities. If I go to Atlanta and I go to a club, I'm gonna see T.I. When Thug was out, I'm gonna see Thug. When Gunna was in Atlanta, you're gonna see Gunna. You're gonna see Atlanta, you're gonna see 21. Right. You're gonna see them pulling up to what's hot, right? Old and new, right? Killer Mike. It doesn't matter if you're a young artist coming up or you're an older artist, you're gonna see. When you in Houston, I'm gonna see all them Houston artists, whether it's the older Houston artists or the younger Houston artists. They outside.
Right.
When you go to New York, outside of the young artists, most of these niggas move from New York. Nobody stays in New York. They'll go to LA, they'll move to Atlanta, they'll move to all these different places. So New York doesn't have that same feeling. You see a lot of the younger artists out all the time.
Right.
But the artists that sell millions of records, you don't see them.
Most of them leave New York and they pop outside of New York. 50 went to LA, he popped out there. Waka Flocka went, Atlanta?
No. You can't put 50 in that
Yes,
category.
he did.
No,
yeah,
because
50, he
was
made a
still
name
hot
here.
out here.
He was hot, but
I would put Nicki went outside of New York.
Waka Flocka.
And then came. Right.
They went out. But 50 got, when he went to LA though, he became fucking with Drake.
Right.
That's a fact.
I think with Fifth was, when he came out, when Fifth was as hot as fish grease, you gotta think Fifth still had beef. So Fifth was still moving like he had beef with 100 niggas. That's why I think 50 enjoys his life so much now in the last 10 years, because I think when It's Your Birthday came out and all those records, I don't think he could enjoy it. He just got shot 9 times.
Right.
I don't think he felt, he was still running around with the vest. So, you think about 50 10 years ago, when all the beef was there, 50 was having the best time of his life. He was pulling up the Perfections, he's pulling up the Starlets, he's pulling up to Hole in the Wall clubs by himself, convertible with shit, because I don't think he ever got to enjoy success like he should have.
Right.
But you don't really see that. When I was in New York, when we was partying in New York hard, I would see Jay in the club. I would see Nas in the club. I would see Fab in the club. I would see all these artists out. Pop Smoke would be in the club, like they were out. You would see them, you could touch them, you could talk to them, you could see their crews. I would see Nas in the club, like you would see that. I don't think you see that no more.
You see it with like A Boogie and that whole movement that's New York.
A Boogie,
that's New York.
A Boogie you do see out.
Yeah,
Fabio.
he be outside. Fabio,
you see out.
They still outside.
Shout out to Fabi. Shout out to A.
That's the younger.
Yeah.
The younger, that's what I'm saying.
But also,
it's
I'm talking about superstars. Right? A Boogie's a star, Ice Spice is a star, but Jay was a superstar out in the club.
You don't think A Boogie and Ice Spice is superstars too? Not us, but the generation under us.
That's a fact.
I had to sit through a whole concert with my daughter.
No, you're right. No.
Superstar.
A Boogie absolutely is a superstar.
I love.
No, you're right. A Boogie is a superstar.
I love
so is Ice Spice. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
They superstars in that in their world. The way that we looked at Jay and everybody. So.
Right. Now, A Boogie, shout out to A Boogie. What do you think is the biggest difference between that era where the mixtape was popping and now?
Technology changed everything.
Technology.
We don't even have
But
shows.
what's
We
the
don't.
biggest difference? Is it quality of artists, quality of lyrics, quality of
Access and
people-
gatekeeping.
people
That's a fact.
kind of not putting the same weight on music as we did because we had to wait for it. We had to
I think that's part of it. I
stand
think,
online.
The microwave generation.
I think, like what she said, I think it's too much music. Right?
Too much.
And the reason I say it's too
Oversaturated.
much music, you think about it, when you got an album back then, you roll with that album for the summer. Now I listen to an album, I ride for it for a week, and then there's some new music. Now I'm on the new music. Then I'm listening to that for a
Keep
week.
up,
And
yeah.
then I'm listening to a new music. But back then it was so slim as far as releases were concerned. You really looked for that release. Like you waited for Nori's album to come out. You waited for Hov's album to come out. You waited for the new Fab. You waited for those records, and when they came, the Fugees, whatever it was, because we didn't have a big
Word.
plethora of music.
Right.
You waited for T.I.'s album. And you would rock to it for a summer or, for however long it was. But now it's just so much
Too
music
much.
coming out.
I can't even keep up. I'm like, I can't listen to all that.
Like
It
you
gotta
said,
be real good.
the internet,
Or my
they
kids
dropping
gotta tell me
music
about it.
every day on the
Yeah,
internet,
it's too
every
much.
day, every
Right,
day.
but as the tastemakers, who are your go-to people?
What you mean as far as?
Like who? Okay, we see Maine and Jim, Lobby Boys. They're still putting projects out. We see Fab every now and then. He'll go a good 10 freestyles.
Right.
It's crazy, and then you're like, well, what's going on now? I don't see him no more. What happened? Who are the go-to guys for New York City?
Lots. They always dropping shit. I fuck with them. They always dropping something. Lots.
What was the last joint that dropped that you?
I think it depends. When it comes to radio, it's two different categories, right? So when it comes to radio, Cardi B never misses when it comes to radio.
Shout out to Cardi.
Nicki Minaj never misses when it comes to radio. Like a lover, hate or not, Ice Spice always connects with a radio record. A Boogie
A
always
Boogie,
connects
of
with
course,
a
A
radio
Boogie.
record.
Fab.
Fab hasn't had a radio record in a minute. Fab comes with a freestyle, he comes with bars, but I'm talking about radio records, club records. I love Cash Cobain and Bay Swag. I love what they're doing, that energy that they're bringing. I don't even know what they call it, but it's like a R&B drill type
They
of
call
shit.
it sexy drill. That's
Sexy
what my
drill.
son told me.
Yeah, but
your son told you
Sexy
that?
drill. Sexy drill.
But
yeah.
those records are hard. Those records are the records that
Right.
have been played in the club that rocks that I play on the radio. So that's when it comes to that. And then when you talk about street, that's when you get your Fabs, your Jims, your Mainos, your whoever else that's putting out those freestyles. But when it comes to those records, it's a whole generation of new artists that's really going.
With all the business ventures that you have now, are you still in tune with what's hot?
I think so.
You have time to like sit down and be like, or you just like, okay, what y'all talking about? Oh, that's what y'all talking about?
There's two ways that I do it. One, I have a 20-year-old son, right? We play basketball every night when he's home from school. We work out in the gym. First thing I do, plug in your phone. You hear what you're listening to. And he's gonna put me on to this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. Then I got a 22-year-old daughter. Totally different than him.
Totally different.
Listening to different music than him. And she gonna be like, oh, I like this. Oh, this is the record. Oh, this, that, and the other. So for instance, my son reminds me of me. He goes out. He's out every night. He's out,
Right.
like outside.
Right.
He might be like, yo, Pops, yo, what's up? Yo, Future Metro, Fried is the record. Okay, start playing Fried. You know what I mean? And I listen to what they say.
Right.
Because sometimes we get stuck in our own, yo, I want to hear Jay-Z rap for 36,000 bars, which is cool.
Which is cool,
But-
because it still works.
But it still works. But
Right.
he's gonna put me on to what's new and what's not. And then I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid to. But I also go out. Like I'll go to the club, humble envy, sit in the back, just listen to see what niggas play, see what works, see what doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Oh, you ever surprised like this week?
Nah. like for instance, the other night I was in Charlotte and Booth was there, DJ Booth, and I rock. And usually when I rock, I leave, right? Nah, Booth rock out. I sit in the back and just watch, see what he plays, see what he plays different than I play, see what records work for him, what records don't work for him, what he goes in, what he goes out, because he's younger than me. He's 6-7 years younger than me. And that's what I do sometimes. I go to a club in Queens, Just pull up, sit in the back, just listen to what niggas is playing, see what reacts, see what doesn't react, so I can understand. And usually that's how I take records to the radio. I'll go to another market, see what rocks, and I'll go from there.
Speaking of family stuff, I don't know if you want to talk about this.
Anything you want to ask me?
How hard is it to put your relationship out there into the public?
It's not difficult. Gotta think, I've been with my wife 30 years. We've been married 23. We got 6 kids. 22, 20, 11, 10, 7, 2 years old.
What do you do? How do you do that, bro?
I've been with my wife since I was 16, she was 15. So it's like,
what's so shocking to you? What's so shocking to you
before I had,
it's like 30 years.
Before I had a dollar, before I had a dime.
Niggas kill a bunkie when they in for that long. You just wake up one day and be like, I'm tired of this.
Oh my God. How have you and your wife been together for so long? You see? This is the poison right here.
Call that man poison?
This is it right here. The one you're talking about.
It's not poison. It's just like, yo, can we switch bunkies like once a week?
It's about your priorities.
But
on my birthday, can I get another bunkie? You know?
But it's the thing
about
too.
Your priorities.
But I don't know about anybody else's situation, but it's like my wife is the homie. My wife still looks good. Never had no surgeries after 6 kids.
Right.
But not only that, like when I say she's the homie, people like, yo, my wife's the homie. Like, no, she is the homie. Like, my DiBiase sitting over there. We go to a club. And her and DiBiase be like, and she'd be like, DB, go get that one. She gotta, like, that's how she is. She is the homie.
Right.
And DB, I have a conversation with her. Like, that's how she is. Like, we tell each other, when I say everything, we tell each other everything. I tell everybody, if you tell me something, my wife will know.
Right. And
then my wife say the same thing. You tell me, you know, Rashawn will know. But that's just how we are. We are that connected. So it's a gift and it's a curse. It's a gift because it's like, I know I always got somebody in my corner. I know I ain't got to worry about nothing. Like, nothing at all. But it's a curse. Well, I don't even consider it a curse. But
I was going to say, what's the curse?
There is no secrets. Like, I got Life 360 app on my phone.
That's the best part.
My wife just said, what are you doing in Harlem? I thought you had an interview she thought it was downtown city, but like, we have Life 360 where we see where each other's at. There's I said I have a phone up relationship. Like, I could keep my phone up and not have to worry about putting it, you know what I mean? That's just how our relationship is. So, but it's always good to know you got somebody in your corner that no matter what, she's never gonna fold, never gonna bend. She always got your back. It is what it is.
Happy wife, happy life. Okay.
You see how one-sided that is?
It's not one-sided. It's that you're like, how is this relationship? Oh my God. Like, he has priorities. And his priorities is family first. And that's just it. So whatever he needs to do for his relationship, and I'm not talking for envy, I'm just talking for a man who wants to be committed in his relationship and put that in front of everything else. You see that? Life 360, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Right.
Men don't do that shit right there.
So many men don't do that shit.
lot of men
real
wouldn't do
men
that.
do that.
But
You do that? You do that?
What? I don't got a problem with that. Like, yo.
Gosh.
Bro, if there's anybody.
Right. There should be nothing to hide.
Bro, you know me. I ain't hiding nothing. Why are you looking at me like that?
That was wild, son. But go ahead, though. I'm listening.
Don't put me in.
That was wild.
But you know, like me in a relationship, like you gonna see me in my joint here, there, ain't gonna be no, you know what I mean?
But she's like when I say the homie, like she'll be like, yo, you need to go downstairs and start working out with your son because you gained a little weight. Like she's like that way. Like, yo, I don't like the way you sound on the radio today. You sounded this, that, and the other. But like
that's real.
She gonna hold me down. Right. But then if there's a problem, if we in a club and if she feel funny, she right there with me. Like I was telling you earlier, I'm licensed in I think 42 states. She licensed in 42 states. So it's like when I used to drop off the mixtapes.
Oh yeah, Mrs. and Mrs. Smith.
She was with she had the club. She had the club standing outside the car just in case it got crazy.
Right.
Like that's how
you got some money? All right, we out.
But that's how it is. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't change that for the world. And the reason I put it out there is because I feel like me growing up, I never seen that. Mm-hmm. So what I always seen was, not to go back to Jay and Damon, but I seen big pimping. I seen, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be in the club popping bottles with chicks. That's what I seen.
Right.
So that's what I started to do. Mm-hmm. But then when you realize, like, nah, that ain't it. When I show this side of it, yeah, people make fun of me and this, that, and the other. I don't give a fuck about that. But hopefully it helps a new generation of people be like, nah, this nigga Envy rock with his wife. And he's still cool. He still got the jewelry, the cars, the cribs, and whatever. He still got that, and he still look good. So that's why I put it out there.
All right, but how do you feel when like, okay, let me clap myself, B. All right,
That's why we're collaborating with Envy on Tail of the Tape.
Oh, please, get out of here.
Whatever.
Get out of here. You married?
No, I'm not married.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
divorced, and you know that. Don't be funny. Say what it is. Say whatever.
All right, so
Happily divorced.
So when things go on in the public with you guys, when TV shows decide to use sound bites, they don't put you in the best light, how do you respond to that?
I don't.
You don't?
What I got to respond to for? Like this is the thing. I think a lot of time when we talk about generations and they try to respond to make themselves look a certain way, or they feel like they have to prove themselves to somebody. I got to prove myself from. Only people I got to worry about is Gia, Madison, Logan, London, Jackson, Brooklyn, and Peyton. That's my 6 kids and my wife. Outside of that, I really don't give a fuck about what people think. Like, I really don't. But, like, if you think about me, I've been getting money for a long time.
And
my flex.
I love that answer.
My flex.
Right.
Is my kids.
I love that answer. But I know, bro, just being a man, certain times you're like, they use that? Why they leading with that? You know what I'm saying? You're like, I get it.
But you also got to understand is they're trying to get clicks and likes. So it's like, at first I used to think that, but then you got to think about it. I'm on radio every day, 5 days a week. So you click, if you say use Envy's name, it's going to get traction.
Right.
It's going to be on a blog. It's going to be on everything. And it gets to the point where it's like, damn, do I try to clean up everything every time?
You can't.
I can't. And see, the people that know me, knew I grew up in Queens, knew I was out and about, knew what I did, knew how I made money, knew how I worked, knew who I am as a person. Those are the only people that I care about.
Right.
And it gets to the point where it's like, I ain't got to prove myself to anybody else. Now, what does bother me is kind of what you said earlier about drama. When those people that you done looked out for and they hear something and they don't have your back, that bothers me. Because now I was like, because I done helped a lot of people. And it's like, damn. But other than that, I learned to not expect it anymore. I just stay in my corner and just do me. I don't expect it. And like I said, as long as my 6 kids and my wife is happy, I don't give a fuck about nobody else.
All right. Does it complicate things when other media platforms are making comments on your public relationship or your relationship in the public?
I don't mind anything as long as it's not disrespectful. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, I'm a man. You know what I mean? So as long as it's not disrespectful, like if they say, hey, I seen this and I heard Envy said this about his wife, and that's cool. When you cross that line of disrespect, that's when it's a problem. See, I'm still from, and I hate to say it, I'm still from the era of, if you got a problem with me, have a problem with me.
Right.
Like, I'd rather you punch me in my face than talk about my wife. I'd rather you key my car than talk about my kids.
Right.
Talk about me.
Right.
But then when you cross that line, there's no coming back. And I'm a Virgo and I'm petty. So when I say if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. But it's not like I'm holding anything or holding any grudges. I just don't need you around me. I don't need that energy around me.
Right. So we saw a viral moment. You kind of went off on Thesis and Merrill. Merrill came on the show shortly after that. What was that whole thing about?
They made a reference towards my wife that I didn't like. And if anybody knows me, they know that I don't hold my tongue. But I don't talk about anybody. I'll wait to see you in person. Like if you rewind any Breakfast Club tape or anything like that, if I had a problem with you, I say it right then and there. Whether it was Jesus and Merrill, whether it was Tyrese, whether it was even drama. Right. I say it to your face. Reason being is because once I say it to your face and it's there, it's over. I don't have no more to say. Now, if you leave and say it after, that's on you and your character. They said something about my wife that I didn't like. And when they came on the Breakfast Club, I approached them about it. When I approached them about it, they apologized on the Breakfast Club and said, my bad, it was over. And that was it. When they left, I'm sure social media came and then they changed and went on their show and went crazy and did a tour and all that other stuff. But after I say it to your face and we look each other in the eye and it's done, it's done.
Now, was your reaction based on having a personal relationship with? Like, okay, I know y'all, we cool. Why would you go there? Is it that, or is it just, I don't care who you are,
It's
I don't
both.
have to know you?
It's both. It's both.
Okay.
I mean, it's your wife and your kids. It's like you don't let anybody talk to your wife crazy or make your wife look crazy or make your kids look crazy.
Right.
And if you do, they were on the show before. And if you do, when I see you, I'm gonna talk to you about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what happened.
So morally, you have a different standard than some of the people that you work with.
My standard is always protect and provide when
Right.
it comes to my family. Whatever that may be in that circle, that's who I am as a man and as a person. If you're not that way, or you're not that way, or she's not that way, or he's not that way, that's different. But my father always taught me, you never let nothing happen to your mother. You make sure your mother's always good. I don't care what happens.
Right.
Even if you die, you make sure that woman is good. And I've seen him do it many a times. So I'm the same way with my wife. I'm the same way with my kids. And I teach my kids to be the same way.
All right. So when you're on the show
Mhm.
with Charlamagne,
Mhm.
and he violates those same morals and principles that you have
To who? To me?
to guests or people, whoever's on the show that day, are you sitting there like, damn, I wish this nigga would not do that?
I don't. When is he violated?
No, I mean, if he makes a comment about someone's family or a personal situation.
He'll ask a question and he'll make a comment based off what's out there publicly. I don't ever see him disrespecting somebody saying your wife is ugly or your wife is only there for this or this, that, and the other. I don't see that.
Mhm.
And if he did say something like that and somebody checked him for it, he wouldn't have a problem. And I don't think Charlamagne would have a problem with it. But he's not. I don't. He's not going to disrespect somebody's wife or kids.
Right.
I've never heard him say that.
Okay. But he has built up a relationship for kind of like poking the guest a little bit. And I feel like some people go up like the Beanie Siegel situation.
Fredro Starr.
They go up there on guard
Mhm.
because they're like, he's the guy that's going to say something crazy.
But what I will say is this, and artists have a tough time doing this. If an artist says something, right, about anybody in this world, don't get mad when the interviewer asks you about it. Like the Fredro Starr situation, not to bring it back. Fredro Starr said he had relations with Brandy. He said it, right? He said it in an interview.
Right.
So why can't an interviewer ask you about it? You said it. It's not like he made it up. It's not like he heard. This is what he said. So Charlamagne asked him about it. Now he got mad and tight that Charlamagne asked him about it. Maybe because it wasn't the way he asked, but he asked him about it. But that was what he said.
Mhm.
You can't be mad at that. If anybody comes on the Breakfast Club and says something about an artist, an individual, and we ask them about it, nah, you can't be mad at that. That's why we don't take the here's these questions that you can't answer, that you can't ask.
You don't take those.
Nah,
Yeah.
we gonna ask you whatever it is. Now you
Mhm.
could answer it any way you want to answer it, but we gonna ask you because that's what the people want to know. You can't make a statement and then don't want to come on the show and be like, well, don't talk about that. No, you discuss that.
Yeah, there were a couple interviews I had to turn down because it was right after something happened.
Right.
And they didn't want to talk about
And it makes
I
you
was
look
like,
corny.
Yeah, I was like, this ain't gonna make
Makes
no
you look
goddamn
scared,
sense.
which makes no sense.
They're gonna be sitting here watching the whole episode like, really? Y'all didn't talk about that? Makes no sense. Do you find that that's tough? Like, being that you're such an open person,
Mhm.
and in a lot of instances throughout the years, you allow yourself to be vulnerable to the public.
Yep.
Do you think that artists do themselves a disservice not talking about certain things?
No, yes and no. Perfect example was Fabulous, right? Fab was a very quiet person. And when I mean quiet, never really spoke in public.
Right.
Very guarded, introvert. If you know him, he's a jokester, he's a laughster, this, that, the other. But to the
Yeah,
public,
he's
he
hilarious.
was. He's hilarious, right? He'll crack jokes on you. That's Fab.
Right.
But I think social media got Fab out there being able to talk more, you learned his personality.
Twitter Fab.
Correct.
Twitter Fab was a thing for
Yes.
a little while. I don't know if y'all noticed.
Mhm.
There was when we found out, like, yo, this nigga got jokes.
But
like,
it made you like him a little
Right.
more. He
A
was
lot
going
more.
back and forth at Kevin Hart at the time.
a lot more.
And it opened him up where it's like, damn, he's not just nice with the bars. He's a funny dude. And I
Right.
think it opened it up to people that might not have known or might not have liked Fab. It opened it up like, damn, he has a personality. So
Right.
for sometimes I feel like it is good. But then in the case of Beyonce, I think it's good for her as well that she's not open. Because I want my super duper stars, I want that little mysterious shit. Like I want the Michael Jackson, Prince, Mariah Carey, mysterious. Like, damn, how do they live? Like, because it makes you want to know even more. It makes you more excited. Even Hov,
Yeah,
it
sometimes.
makes you more excited even more.
Right.
So I like it with those.
But
artists.
sometimes it works against them because not knowing them. You look at case in point, Michael Jackson. You brought him up. You know, all the allegations that came out about him. There weren't many people that could refute it, or the public just had no idea what was going on. So it allowed people to kind of paint a picture because you didn't know what was there. So,
but it didn't matter because I just went to go see Michael Jackson on Broadway and it was sold out. Like his legacy lives on. He's still one of the biggest artists, and we don't know much about his life, and I like it. I like the mysterious way you don't know what the hell Bubbles was. You know he was a monkey, but you don't know if it was his pet monkey, if he slept with Bubbles, if Bubbles was just at the pool party with him. Like, you don't know, and that's the mysterious side about it.
Right.
Same thing when you look at somebody like a Beyonce. We really don't know nothing about Beyonce. She really don't do interviews. She only gives you what she wants, and I think the mystery makes you like the artist even more.
yeah, but if somebody was to come out and be like, yo, Beyonce abuses her maid. She punches him in the face in the morning for no reason. There would be a bunch of people that'd be like, you know what? I think she does do that. Just because you don't have an insight on it.
Even if they had an insight, they'd say that anyway.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think the mystery makes people pay more attention to the art?
That's true too.
In some cases, but then there's a Kanye where we pay more attention to the art because there is no mystery. We know a song about Kim is coming out. We know a song about this is coming out. He just went through this, so we know what the next record is going to be about. It kind of helps. I mean, I feel like we're entering the Truman era, where life is just going to be instantly online.
If we put it, and I think that's what hurt Kanye the most. What I think people loved about Kanye was the mystery. Was the mask, was the this, was the that. But when he started telling everything, if you like him or not, you'd be like, damn, I don't think he's a good person. I ain't fucking with him. But before we knew that, before it became the Truman Show, like, think about it like this. When we were coming up on our artists, right? I didn't know who fucking Jay-Z was voting for, nor did I give a fuck.
Right.
Jay, just give me my Blueprint album.
Right, that's it.
Nas, give me Illmatic.
That's it.
Whatever it was.
Why you stopping the concert for this?
Yeah,
What's going on? Right.
Now people care too much.
Right.
Like, why do you care who this person is voting for? Vote for what's your best interest.
Well, we're also
Vote for you who you
in the
care
era
about.
of cancel culture,
Right.
right? So like people, because we have this direct connection to the artist, people love to cancel. People are waiting by their phones like, who's next?
Yeah.
Right? So that means artists have to be more aware of the things that they say, places they go, right? If you're on a certain level, you can't just be out here just like on Twitter. Especially if you have a team around you, right? A la Kanye, Beyonce, these mega stars. You have to be mindful because you also have, I always say, responsibility. So in addition to your superstardom, right, now people are following you. This word of following, right, on the internet, we're following these artists. We're paying attention to what they're doing. Whether you say you want to accept it or not, you're a sort of role model. So you have to be mindful of the things that you do because you can change how people behave.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to be a saint.
I didn't say saint.
Yeah, but when I say
saint.
when in the case of cancel culture, they
Right.
expect people to be saints.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you think about it like this, and this is for all of us in here, right? If there was a camera for as many times as we fucked up, you probably wouldn't have none of us would have our jobs, right? You can't say that you never drove home tipsy or drunk.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? I'd never say that, and I'm not saying it's right,
Right.
but we was young and dumb.
Like
and
a
just,
one night
made
stand and you went
mistakes.
raw. Shit like that.
See, you going too
See,
far.
you're not gonna admit it. Certain people ain't gonna admit it.
But,
hey,
but like I said, how many
happens,
times
though.
you were slumped over in a club, or how many times, whatever it may be, that you did some stupid shit.
right.
It was never documented. So, quote unquote, it didn't exist. Now these kids are facing with stuff that's documented. And people are not given a second chance. Just think about it like this, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you. Something ever happened to somebody give you a second chance, or officer say, yo, get the fuck out of here before you get in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Right? Think about it like this. Now, I don't know when this is coming out, so I'll say a couple days ago, Justin Timberlake, R&B pops, got arrested in the Hamptons, the whitest place.
Right.
15 years ago, that would never happen. They would have drove Justin Timberlake home and says, don't worry about it. But now it's the era of not only do they want to do it, they want to
They want to film it.
Film it, show the body camera, release the body camera, you get arrested. So it's a different era.
This is what I'm saying. We're heading towards the Truman era.
Yep, it's scary.
And it is very scary. But how do we handle, like, okay, the platforms that you're a part of, how do you handle this need for instant information constantly?
See, the good thing about the Breakfast Club is, and this is the thing I could just say, I thank God, is it's not necessarily, we all get the information at the same time. Every blog, every radio show, every podcast, we all get the information at the same time now. It's no longer who gets the information first. It's the POV on the information, what people think about it. You know, people like to hear what Charlamagne or Jess or myself think about a certain situation, and that's what makes us different from any other show, because we all get the information. Justin Timberlake got arrested. Let me hear what they got to say. What's their spin on it? Or how they gonna make me laugh? How they gonna make me cry? Like, that's what it is. You know what I mean? But it's more POV. It's more because we all get the information at the same time. So it ain't a matter of who gets it first or who gets it last. We don't care who gets it first. For us, we just want it to be right. Like, we don't want to report something and then it ain't right.
And then have to retract it. Have you ever had to do that?
Nah. I try to wait for anything. I'm never gonna say, you know, rest in peace to so-and-so. And I hear all the stories all the time.
I mean, Kim crucified me for the whole Diddy conversation, but we were staying away from that for a long time because we didn't know. Yes, you did.
I didn't. I simply stated that I thought it was a little irresponsible the way it was covered. That's all. Especially in light now of seeing the footage.
I'll be honest with you. In light of all the coverage, the whole shit has been irresponsible.
Right.
There's so many platforms that's just been saying anything. And then to have, you know, I feel like we have to compete with this now. Kind of like tabloid reporting program that's going on.
This is the major problem with all of it, right? And this is the scary part. When you said it was scary. Somebody could make up a story right now, and it goes viral, right? Nothing happens to that person, right? Nothing happens.
Why me?
I'm just saying. Let's say you make up. Let's say you and Math stop fucking with each other, right? And y'all don't speak no more. You can make up a wild story. I'm gonna say pause. You could say you see Math at Diddy's house get his back.
I wouldn't do that.
But let's say
you're not gonna do that.
But let's say,
but there are people
will believe it because it came from you.
Yeah,
Right.
We had a couple, we had a couple of clowns leave here and make up stories.
But now think about this: what can Math do if he hits you? Math going to jail and he gonna lose a couple $100,000.
No, I'm gonna fight him back.
Right?
You know what I mean, man?
No, you're not. You're gonna fall on the floor.
First of all, you need evidence that I hit him. You need evidence.
You don't even need evidence because everything is taken. Then Math can't sue you because it's gonna cost Math just as much money to sue you than what most people got. So now you're in a situation where you gotta stand there and take it.
Pause.
That's fucked up. Pause.
I ain't taking nothing.
And that's no pause because they fucking you with no rubber because there's nothing you can do.
Right.
Word, that's crazy. I'll be like this.
How do you fight against this? You've been in the media thing way longer than I have. But I see it coming. Pause. And I'm like, there's so many new sites, new YouTube channels that are just saying anything.
Bro, I heard so
and
many
they're getting a
rumors
gazillion views.
I heard so many
off
rumors about
monetizing
that you just gotta chuckle. And another thing is people don't like to read. People will see a story. Right. People will see a documentation. People will see this, but they'll rather look at the headline and believe it than actually say, you know what, let me read it to see if it's true.
Right.
And no matter what you do, you can stand there until you fucking red in the face. Sometimes when the lie is more entertaining, people don't give a fuck about the truth.
And this is why I call you. Listen, I don't do this anymore in terms of this media thing.
Right.
I say I don't do it anymore because I'm in a whole different business from what I did back at the source.
Right.
But I feel like I need to when I see things. When I see them virally on Instagram, if I know you, I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you and be like, I know you just didn't put that out in front of a bunch of people. But why you laughing?
I'm laughing because I remember you calling me after an interview like, that nigga's a goddamn liar. He been a liar. He ain't never told the truth.
I do that though. And I don't just do it to you. I just feel like, you know, just with the experience that I have, however I can spread that knowledge, I will do it because I feel like it's important that we put out the truth. I'm just a truth teller and I've always been a truth teller. This is who I am, right? And I don't see a lot of it in media. Like there's still glimpses of it. And when I see the glimpses, I try to make sure, you know what I'm saying, I'm connected so I can give you the information that I have. So, you know, I'll arm you with the knowledge.
Right.
So that's all I'm doing.
We
It's not
appreciate
crucifying
that,
you.
Right.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Should there be a penalty for misinformation?
Tasha K, Cardi B. That situation.
Yeah, but Tasha K, and you know, there's so many other situations that something Tasha K like will happen, and people don't pursue, you know, legally.
You got to.
But let's be honest, right? Me and Math ain't got Cardi B money.
That's a fact. Tasha K put out something on me that she had to take down.
How did you, okay, here's the question. How did you get it taken down?
I didn't.
How did it get taken down?
I think the fans kind of went fishing for information, and they saw the holes in the story, and I don't know if somebody put her on, but it came down. But the headline goes up, then it comes down, but there's no retraction, there's no that wasn't true, my bad, the reason why I took this down was because, you know what I mean? Like, that type of shit doesn't happen often enough.
But please believe Cardi B probably spent over $1 million on that case.
Oh, I know that was
A couple million to do
yeah,
that. But for her, Cardi B is like, nah, this is what I want out there. Even
Right.
with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart spending millions of dollars on them cases. Do I want to spend $1 million on
Yeah,
a
I know.
case?
I know.
When I got 6 kids, and I'm like, I'd rather get that to my kids.
Right.
Right.
So it's like, and they worth it to me.
Yeah.
Some people I will, but some ain't worth it.
But
I get
depending
it, I
on what
get
it
it.
is, don't it fuck with your paper though?
It can.
Right.
It can,
It
but
fuck with your livelihood.
But it also, if you're a good person and people know you're a good person, 90% of it come right back. Like, people know whatever happens in this world, like Kim is a good person, right? So if we hear something about Kim, we be like, yeah, whatever. We know Kim is good.
Right.
9 times out of 10, people know Envy's good. They met me, they spoke with me, they didn't see my kids, they didn't see my family, so
Right.
they know what it is. But sometimes you just let them go.
Right.
Okay. Any place I want to go to from here?
Where do you want to go? Mark?
What's the difference from working with Angela Yee and Jess? What's the difference?
There's a couple of differences. They both dope. Both dope. I think Jess is a younger energy.
Right.
You gotta think Jess is probably 10 years plus younger than me and Charlamagne. So she has a different energy. She's into a different artist. Like, she's gonna do things that me, Charlamagne, and Yee probably wouldn't do.
Right.
Like, Jess went to Chris Brown the other night, pregnant, to see Chris Brown because that's her favorite artist. She's going to those festivals. She's going to those concerts. She's into those artists. She's gonna do skits. She's from a different era of things. So they're totally two different things. But you know, Angela Yee on the other side, she's hip hop. Like, she is hip hop. Like,
Right.
DJ, work for Wu-Tang, like
Right.
like that type of, you know, manage
Two
the
different
electronica
eras.
for that. Like, she is hip hop.
Right.
And Jess is hip hop as well, but Jess is it's just a younger thing, and they're totally into two different things, but they both dope. But I just think Jess brings a younger element to the show.
Right.
Why are you smiling?
No,
Why
you
are
said-
you looking at me?
Yeah, do your Ray Liotta thing. Do with the.
Don't do that. Wait, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? What do you want to ask?
Oh, let me see.
Because I was going to say something to piggyback off of what he said,
Go
right?
ahead,
Because
go
as a
ahead.
woman in media, right, so all the years that Ange just held it down, I think her move to have her own show is bigger for her, right? But like a lot of times you get the question, well, oh, how's the Breakfast Club? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, with, you know, not Angela. Nah, it's time. In this business, we have to grow and mature and do different things. And
Right.
I fully support her in what she did. I think it's
Is that the
amazing.
next step for you?
Maybe not. I don't know. You know, my dream when I was a kid was to do nights in New York. That's what I wanted to do. But what they always say, that, you know, you think you got a plan until you tell God put me on mornings, and I enjoy it. Like, my body wakes up every morning at 4 a.m. regardless if I have an alarm clock or not. I'm out the house at 5 in the morning. I'm at the radio at 5:30. We're broadcasting at 6 o'clock.
Bro, I'm just going to sleep.
You see what I'm saying? So there's so many things that I want to do. Do I want my own show? I had my own show before. You know, I did afternoons at Power before. I like doing mornings. allows you to talk more, gives me the rest of my day. At 10 o'clock, I'm done. So when people are just getting to work, I'm out and about doing different things. You know what I mean? So to answer that question, I don't know what holds. I got a lot of things in the pipeline, and we'll see what catches. You know what I mean? But I enjoy it. I love doing morning radio. Like, it's the craziest thing ever. People are like, you like getting up early in the morning? Yes. 10 o'clock, I'm done. I can pick up my kids from school. I go to my warehouse. I go to my office. I go check on stuff I need to check on. So I enjoy it.
Well, what's your favorite moments from the Breakfast Club?
Of course, Birdman. Of course, Birdman.
All three of y'all.
All three of y'all. That was a good one.
Ray J.
Ray J is always good.
Did you have issues with Fab after that?
Nah.
No?
Nah. I mean, when Ray J called, I texted Fab. I mean, Fab didn't hit me back because he was in Vegas, probably sleeping at that time. But
right.
Nah, I didn't have no problem. Fab just laughed. He just laughed at me.
How do you get around, like, being friends with somebody that they might have a problem with somebody that comes on your show? Like, how do you get around that? How do you, this person said this, and your friend is calling you like, yo, why you ain't? How do you get around that?
Honestly, I don't have many friends in the industry. I probably only have 4 people that I ride for, and I think everybody knows who those 4 people are. 50. They know that's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Clue. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be DJing. Fat Joe. Joey Crack is just, he's a good stand-up guy, and Joey know I would do anything for Joe regardless.
Yeah, Joe is like
Joe is
a great person. You should get into politics.
Yeah, now Joe is a great guy. And I think the last person that I love is Busta Rhymes. Like, Busta's just, those guys are always in my corner. You know what I mean? Will always check up on me. Whether things are going good or whether things are going bad, they were always there. Like, Fat Joe is probably that one person that he'll call on Christmas, he'll call on birthday, he'll call when your daughters graduate, he'll call, like, he is that person. So those 4 right there can't be no wrong in my book. So if they need me for anything, I am absolutely positively there, and nobody's ever going to talk about those individuals around me.
How is Busta Rhymes still relevant?
I mean, he's the best performer ever, as far as hip-hop is concerned, without a doubt.
So you don't believe in the ageism thing?
Busta Rhymes just did Chris Brown's record less than 10 years ago, and it's still relevant now when you got young people and old people trying to do his verse. Busta's still one of the illest performers that I ever seen in my life. And Busta's a good person. Busta, if you ever see Busta in a club, Busta's gonna hug you for 15 minutes. Doesn't care if he's in the middle of people trying to get in the club, if somebody's performing, he's gonna tell you how much he loves you, how much he cares about you. He gonna tell, like, that is Busta.
Shout out to Bust, man.
Like, and he's always been like that.
Busta, I'll never do your show. Let me pour you a drink, my nigga. Oh my God,
that's
like that.
That's
You
Bust.
guys never do your show?
Yeah, but we I know why. I know why.
He'll do it. He said Busta was never gonna do the Breakfast Club if he did the Breakfast Club.
Oh,
Not
really?
only did the Breakfast
There's
Club,
hope.
He stayed for 4 hours and hosted with me. 4 hours.
Oh, I'm gonna bring that up next time I see him. I'm gonna be like, no, you said that about the Breakfast Club too, buddy. All right, yo. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Tale of the Tape.
Thanks for having us,
it's very important for you guys to check this out. Like, I make comments about the younger generation not knowing the history. It's very important to know where it came from, so you can know where you're going. You can see the natural evolution. Facts. Or you can pick up morals and principles from the era before you and continue them on.
Yeah, facts.
Very important. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Wait, I gotta tell everybody this. One more thing. I forgot. Very important to me.
Right.
I do these car shows.
Oh, I almost forgot to bring this up.
Shows. And the reason why I talk about the car shows is as a kid growing up in Queens, it was not too much for us to do. And everything was expensive. So when I started making money and started getting into cars, I wanted to create a car show that kids and families could actually come to.
Right.
So I created this car show, which is not very expensive. The first tickets start up at $19.99. And the reason I did it is because every time I would take my kids to car show, after 20 minutes, they've done seeing the cars, but they don't necessarily care. So we did it like a car festival where there's rides, there's jumpies. In certain markets, we got animals, there's obstacle courses, there's gaming trucks, and then there's all types of cars, from celebrity cars to this, that, the other. So from in your market, come on out. I think this year we doing Memphis, we doing Shreveport, Louisiana, and we doing, of course, New York, New Jersey. So If you haven't come, I want to see you out there. Bring your kids, even if they badass kids, bring them. My badass kids will be there, so they can be badass kids together in obstacle courses. My wife is there, so bring wifey. They sit in the corner and talk about all the shows that Kim is producing. So come on out here. And the fellas, we can just have some drinks and we chill. We look at cars, we smoke a little bit, and we just chill. So I want to see you guys at the next show if y'all can. Again, you can just follow me on Instagram.
I want to ask, are you and Ross ever going to face off with the car thing? Like, is that ever going to happen?
Nah, it's never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
Mm-mm.
There was a line crossed.
Of course.
Well, I
wish him the best. Let him do his thing. You know, we cater to two different people. Like I said, I cater to the people that I grew up with in Queens that couldn't afford $19.99, and he caters to a car culture and club. So I stay to my people, and I stay to people that can afford it. Group homes, we want y'all to come. If y'all can't afford it, you in a group home, hit us up. We'll give you free tickets. Like we try to help the community. And that's what we do with our show.
Right. Dope. I definitely got to pull up. We out.
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.